Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Shut Up and Read. Today I'll be doing a book tag video, which I have not done in literally forever. But I was recently tagged by Sarah from Novel Serendipity for the legendary Pokemon book tag video. I will link her original video down below. But anyways, let's just get right into it. So I'm just going to read the prompts as we go down the list. The first one is Mew, and that is your favorite original book, the book that started it all. So for the first one, I'm going to go with Redwall by Brian Jacques. This is actually not Redwall, this is Redwall, Lord Brocktree. Redwall is actually under a bunch of piles right now, and I just don't feel like picking it up, so I'm going to go with this one. And I mean, just pretend you don't see this part, just see Redwall, guys. But this was my favorite back in my childhood. I think I've been talking about this kind of recently again because I really want to go back into the series. I really liked it back in the day, so I definitely want to pick up the series again as soon as I can. It's just been kind of busy recently, but yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite childhood books and probably one of the original books that I read when I was very young that started my love for reading. And the second Pokemon is Mewtwo, and that one is a series where you prefer the second book to the first. So for this one, I'm going to go with The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiffwater. I just read this recently. I did a whole reading vlog on it, so I will link that above in case you want to check that out. But I love the second book compared to all the rest of the series. The second one is my favorite, then it's the first one, and then books 3 and 4 are kind of just under the radar for me. So anyways, this is definitely the second book in a series that I love so much more than the first one. Then the third Pokemon is Zapdos, a book where you wanted a character to be struck down by lightning to never return. This one I'm gonna go with Tony Fortuna. He is the father in this book, which is The 7th or 8th Deaths of Stella Fortuna by Juliet Grams. This is a historical fiction. It follows this Italian immigrants from Italy, I want to say early 1900s, and they basically immigrated to the US. And Tony Fortuna is the father. He is by far the grossest character I have ever been introduced. He is vile. It's also partly because of the culture as well as the time period where he was just very MIA for his family, and also like the way how the houses work there. It's just one room, the very tiny one room, so a lot of times they were just sleep together. So there were things that he and his wife would do and his kids were just there, and it was just like, I mean, I understand it's a cultural thing and it's fine in that aspect, but there were certain things that he did after that that I was just like, just, you should just, never, he was a terrible character. And there were things that he did later on in his life where I was just like, oh my god, he was just very vile, very disgusting, very gross person overall. And he would just like, anyways, I don't want to go into spoilers, but yeah, definitely just leave and never return. That's the character that I want to pick for this question Pokemon. Then the fourth Pokemon is Moltres, a book that really got your blood boiling. So my first impression for this one was it would be a book that got me really mad, my blood is boiling, but Sarah picked a book that she really liked, so I guess it's a book that you either really like or really hate, so I want to go with a book that I really didn't like. And for this one, I'm going to go with Enter Title Here by Rahul Kanakia. I actually unhauled this book back in February, I want to say, so goodbye book. So the reason why I want to pick up this book is because I really did not like the main character. I mean, she was definitely not on the same level as Tony Fortuna. He was just a very vile and gross person. But this one, I forget her name, but she was just a very terrible person. She was selfish, she was rude, she was not afraid to step on people to get what she wanted. And not just only her character, but there's just a lot of negative messages going on in this book that I did not like. So this was just a book that just got me really angry about. So yeah, I'm so glad I unhauled that book. Then the fifth Pokemon is Articuno, and that is a book that you will wait for the world to freeze over before you got rid of it. For this one, I'm going to go with my favorite book of 2018, and that is Stranger Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I will link above my best book that I read of 2018 video above if you want to check that out. But I love this book so much. It's the YA fantasy. It follows a guy called Lazo Strange. There's somehow this forgotten city of Weep, and no one really remembers what happened to them, if they're still real, if they still exist, like what really happened, no one really knows. And Lazo has always been fascinated with this forgotten city of Weep, and one day he has the opportunity to go there and find out what truly happened. And this whole adventure, this magic, the writing is absolutely stunning. I love this book so much, like way more than I imagined, that I actually went to buy her original, like the Daughters of Smoke and Bones trilogy, which I started to read on audiobook or listen to an audiobook and I didn't like, but because of Stranger Dreamer the duology, I was like, I need to go and pick this up again, and because I just feel like I need to give this author a second try for this trilogy. So anyways, definitely an amazing book. Definitely cannot recommend this book enough. And the sixth Pokemon is Lugia. The question for that one is a book that you feel has some psychic powers, a book that really speaks to you on a personal level. So for this one, I decided to go with Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. Obviously, I cannot relate to the rich part because I am not rich, but I hope. I wish though, guys. But what really stood out to me and what I can really relate to and connect to on a personal level, because the character Rachel, she is an ABC, and so there's a section where her mother was talking to her about how you might be American, you might be Chinese like outside, but inside you're technically American, and I feel like that's definitely related to that. That spoke to me so much, and I can definitely relate to that. Then the 7th Pokemon is Entei, a character from a book or book series that you wouldn't mind being your parents, or a character that reminds you of your parents. So for this one, I decided to go with You Asked for Perfect by Laura Silverman. I just feel like Ariel's parents just really reminded me of my own, specifically the grades. I feel like my parents, when I was growing up, they were not the typical stereotypical like Asian parents where they were like A+ and only anything under an A+ was just a B, etc. Like they think an A was a B, etc. It was just like, you know how those stereotypes are. So that was not my parents growing up. They were more about like, you just need to try your best, and I feel like they were like, you tried your best and you got a B, that's fine. And so I feel like Ariel's parents were very much like that as well, and so they were also very close, and that kind of reminded me of my parents as well. So his parents were very similar to my parents. Then the 8th question / Pokemon is Ho-Oh, a book that you love that you feel like no one even knows about. I'm gonna go once again with Redwall by Brian Jacques, just because I feel like every time someone talks about a childhood favorite, they either go with Harry Potter, which is very cliche at this point, or they talk about Magic Treehouse or the Babysitter's Club or something like that, but no one ever talks about Redwall, which I was like, this was my favorite growing up. So anyways, this is the book that I'll be picking for this one. Okay, so the final Pokemon / question is Latias and Latios, a book with a duo that you absolutely adore. So for this one, I'm gonna go with the Illuminae Files by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. For this series though, the dynamic duo can be interpreted in so many different ways, either the characters or the authors, but regardless, love the series. But anyways, that is it in terms of my answers to these 9 prompts. So anyways, that's all I had to say for this book tag video. It was actually so much fun to do. Thank you so much for tagging me, Sarah. I will also be figuring out who I'll be tagging in my tweet, so I haven't decided that yet, but I will tweet it out and tag some people in there as well. But as always, if you like this video, please do give me a thumbs up, subscribe down below, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!